Part 87. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 863. An elder from the Assassin dynasty died in an instant. Such a scene made countless monks who gathered around tremble, with fear written on their faces. Some killers who were originally planning to attack Qin Feng were too afraid to step forward. This scene was really frightening to them. Brush. Facing the killers of the Killer God dynasty, Qin Feng showed no sign of mercy. He stepped on the big thunder and disappeared in the void again. When he reappeared, he came behind a group of killers, and the immortal sword fell without mercy, killing those killers. In just the blink of an eye, more than a dozen killers died at the hands of Qin Feng. Ding! Congratulations to the host who successfully used the Star Gold scratch-off card and received 10,000 Super God Building Pills. A clear voice came from the system, which made Qin Feng's eyes light up. After his cultivation reached the realm of princes, it would be extremely difficult to advance to another level. And this Super God Building Pill has a huge effect on him. As long as he can get enough Super Pills, he may directly become a monk in the 9th heaven of the princes. If all of them are the same, he will be unrivaled in the realm of kings, and no one will be able to rival him. However, after reaching Qin Feng's level of cultivation, the explosion rate of scratch cards is already very low. It is already quite good to have these 10,000 Super God Building Pills. At this time, there was a tremor in the void, and the two supreme elders from the Killer dynasty rushed over immediately. They were so fierce that they rushed towards Qin Feng in an instant, intending to kill Qin Feng under their palms. At this time, countless killers had also surrounded Qin Feng. When they saw the Supreme Elder rushing over, they were all ecstatic. In their opinion, if the Supreme Elder took action, they could definitely kill the intruder instantly. Looking at the high status of you two, it must be very painful if the killer Shen Qiao dies. The corners of Qin Feng's mouth curved. Facing the two supreme elders, he showed no fear at all. At this time, he was standing in the holy realm, which was enough to last for a long time. As his thoughts moved, the immortal killing sword shone brightly in his hand. Now his cultivation has reached the peak of the 8th heaven of the princes, and he can exert 300 times the energy of the holy realm. Chi. The void was trembling, and the immortal killing sword spit out a beam of light that was dozens of feet long, destroying all obstacles. There was an earth-shattering sound, and Qin Feng's sword blasted out with terrifying power. The world was shaking, and the bright sword light passed through the void, causing the pupils of countless killers present to shrink. How is that possible? The Supreme Elder who rushed over first was completely stunned, his eyes were full of horror. Because he found that Qin Feng's sword, with 300 times the energy, he couldn't stop it at all. In an instant, he jumped back and retreated, but it was already too late. The next moment, the sword light of the immortal killing sword passed through the void. The supreme immortal killing sword had the ability to kill immortals. It killed the Supreme Elder on the spot and turned it into a ball of blood mist. Hiss. The countless killers present were all stunned. Even their Supreme Elder was no match at all, which they couldn't accept. Many killers' eyes were full of horror. Just a young man broke into their assassin dynasty. This made them extremely doubtful. Is the assassin dynasty still the same powerful force that has been passed down for tens of thousands of years? In fact, it's not that the Supreme Elder is too weak, but because Qin Feng is in the Forbidden Realm and his cultivation is too terrifying. 300 times the energy blessing, even the 9th grade king's background may not be able to stop it. However, the death of a dignified Supreme Elder who had witnessed many rises and falls of the Killer God dynasty and experienced countless disasters in the Killer God dynasty was such a huge blow to the juniors of the Killer God dynasty. Brother. Another Supreme Elder of the Assassin dynasty, after seeing this scene, his eyes were split with tears and he instantly fell into a state of madness. His senior brother, who had witnessed the rise and fall of the Assassin dynasty with him, had survived thousands of years in the world. At this time, he actually died in the hands of a junior, which he couldn't accept. "Brother, let me help you." At this moment, two more Supreme Elders arrived, and the three of them took action together. The attack was extremely ferocious, and terrifying divine power swept across the sky and the earth, flooding Qin Feng. At this time, the young killers who were guarding the area retreated one after another. They knew that once they were affected by such a fluctuation in divine power, they would probably die on the spot. Die. Kill. The three Supreme Elders took action with all their strength, determined to put Qin Feng to death. "Little monster, go and kill all the low-level killers around you, leaving no one behind." With a thought in his mind, Qin Feng immediately ordered his mount Longma. At this time, Longma was already a great king, and its strength was already unfathomable. Especially as a divine beast, its power was unparalleled. "It's the master." After receiving the order, Ryoma crossed the void in an instant. As a divine beast, he possesses extreme speed and rushed into the crowd in the blink of an eye. At this time, the dragon and horse were like tigers entering a flock of sheep. Fire clouds burst out one after another, and the void collapsed inch by inch, filling the air with terrifying waves of energy. Every time the fire cloud collapsed, a large number of killers died in the void and turned into blood mist. At the same time, Qin Feng held the immortal killing sword and used the Tai's Hang immortal killing sword technique to confront the three great elders. Qin Feng, who was in the forbidden area of the gods, also possessed a golden fairy-grade weapon. Such power was completely incomparable to that of the Supreme Elders. Although they were powerful men of the Killer Divine Dynasty and had many skills, Qin Feng's skills were hard to match even if they searched the entire ancient continent. The golden fairy-grade supreme sword of immortal slaying flowed with terrible fairy fire, which made the three Supreme Elders feel a strong fear. The golden fairy-grade skills were so terrifying that they made their souls tremble. This was because the skills were too transcendent and had a certain impact on their own skills. How could a mere young man have such a powerful method? The eyes of the three Supreme Elders all shrank, and they sensed a strong danger. Could this boy be the Qin Feng who has been in the limelight recently? "Are you Qin Feng?" The pupils of the three Supreme Elders suddenly shrank, and they instantly determined that the young man in front of them was Qin Feng himself. This situation shocked the three of them. They didn't expect that the other party would dare to break into the Killer Dynasty alone. He was too arrogant. This made them extremely angry. This guy didn't take the Killer Dynasty seriously at all. Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbspeed -01, container, tabula below article thumbnail -300x250, placement, below article thumbnail -300x250, target. Type, mix. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 864. You guessed it right. Qin Feng smiled slightly, and he instantly stepped on the Big Thunder technique and disappeared into the sky. When he reappeared, there was a Supreme Elder behind him. "Go to hell!" Qin Feng shouted low, and the Tai's Hang immortal sword was suddenly swung out, and the immortal fire swept across the sky. Facing the sudden attack, the Supreme Elder suddenly changed his expression. He suddenly turned around and thrust his killing sword into the sky, causing the space to collapse inch by inch. However, at this moment, the Supreme Elder discovered that Qin Feng's figure disappeared in an instant, and his sword was pierced. At this time, Qin Feng stepped on the Big Thunder technique and appeared behind another Supreme Elder. It turns out that his target has always been another Supreme Elder. Such a sudden sneak attack made the Supreme Elder instantly horrified. He only had time to densely cover his body with Gang Qi before he was directly overwhelmed by the fairy fire on Qin Feng's sword. Ah! The King's rune on the Supreme Elder's body collapsed in an instant, unable to intercept the fairy fire at all, and instantly became the dust of history. Originally, it would not be so easy for Qin Feng to kill this Supreme Elder, but because he suddenly attacked another Supreme Elder, the other two elders who helped him switched from defense to offense. But they didn't expect that after losing Qin Feng's figure, they were stagnant for a moment when they switched from offense to defense. Therefore, the king's rune on his body collapsed instantly and failed to withstand Qin Feng's fairy fire attack. At this time, the remaining two Supreme Elders looked at each other, and their faces turned pale with fear. As old antiques who had lived for countless years, they cherished their lives the most. Especially after seeing the death of a Supreme Elder, this made them fearful. Due to the fear originating from their souls, they were already a little slow in taking action. After another struggle, Sui Feng killed another Supreme Elder with immortal fire. The remaining Supreme Elder was immediately frightened and lost the courage to fight. He immediately ran away with mysterious steps, hoping to meet the other elders. Want to run? It's too late. Qin Feng did not give the other party a chance. He stepped on the big thunder and crossed the void in an instant. In an instant, his immortal killing sword hit the Supreme Elder hard. Then a piercing scream came, and the Supreme Elder couldn't resist it at all. He died in the air and turned into ashes. Ding! Congratulations to the host who successfully used the Star Gold scratch-off card and obtained 50 boxes of mortar shells. Qin Feng's eyes lit up when he heard the system's prompt tone. When he entered the secret realm just now, he had already distributed the mortars to the elders of the Suzaku Holy Land. The only thing they lacked was insufficient ammunition. At this moment, after killing 3 Supreme Elders, they actually scraped out ammunition. This was really a good deal and made his eyes shine. After killing these elders and a group of killers, Qin Feng did not stop at all. Now, what he has to do is to directly destroy the formation hub. Only by destroying the formation hub can the two masters from the Holy Land outside work together to kill the killer dynasty. Brush. Qin Feng stepped on the big thunder to practice magic, and soon came to the big lake again. With the appearance of Qin Feng, the 9 guardians opened their eyes instantly, with murderous intent intertwined on them, and they all possessed extremely terrifying combat power. Who are you, kid? When did you sneak into the assassin dynasty? The 9 guardians of the killer dynasty had a cold look in their eyes. In his opinion, the mountain guarding formation had been sealed, and it was absolutely impossible for outsiders to come in again. Then the only possibility is that the other party got into the killer dynasty before the formation was sealed. I am the Qin Feng you want to kill. Qin Feng was suspended in mid-air, and the dragon horse that had already destroyed a group of killers not far from him also arrived. What? It's you. How could you break through the formation and get in? It doesn't matter if you are the only one who comes in. Killing you will disrupt their military morale. Several of the 9 guardians spoke, but they all spoke indifferently. They were very shocked that Qin Feng could break the formation. After all, they knew Qin Feng's previous news, and the fact that the other party could appear here at this time meant that the other party had really broken through their formation and forced his way in. Swipe. At this time, some king-level killers had already settled in front of Qin Feng. They were the top killers of the assassin dynasty and were proficient in the art of assassination. When the 9 guardians deliberately spoke to Qin Feng, those people were already approaching. However, they still could not escape the gaze of Qin Feng's fiery eyes. A sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth, and he suddenly drew the immortal killing sword in his hand. In just a moment, the 10 king-level killers who had just been hiding in the void were cut in half by Qin Feng. The void fluctuated for a while, followed by blood flowing out, and then 10 corpses appeared out of thin air and fell into the void. With Qin Feng's current methods, it is too easy to kill several king-level assassins who are proficient in assassination. This scene made the 9 guardians of the killer dynasty furious, and they had to take another look at Qin Feng. They deliberately used words to lure Qin Feng and make him lose his attention to the surrounding environment. Unexpectedly, the other party had already noticed it. Although the death of the 10 king-level killers did not greatly damage the vitality of their killer dynasty, it also caused them a small loss. This kind of king-level assassin is the seed-level killer of the killer dynasty. They are proficient in assassination, but they died before they could take on a big order for the killer dynasty. This really makes them extremely angry. Old 9, you kill him yourself. The Great Protector sent out a divine thought and communicated with the 9th Protector. Now the formation hub they are guarding is the foundation of their mountain protection formation. Once the formation hub is destroyed, the mountain protection will be broken, and then the killer dynasty can only fight a decisive battle with the 2 holy places. At that time, even if their killer dynasty has a superb foundation, it will suffer heavy losses and even be in danger of destruction. Okay. The 9th Protector of the killer dynasty agreed, and he immediately stood up. As his mind moved, a black armor appeared on his body. The formation runes on the black armor were immediately activated, and at the same time, a bloody king's sword appeared in his hand. This king's sword also has terrible power. When it is added to him, his combat power suddenly reaches the peak, reaching the combat power of the 8th grade king. You know, originally, with the cultivation strength of the Guardians, they disdained to attack Qin Feng. However, after they saw Qin Feng kill their king-level killer, they immediately decided to kill Qin Feng. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 865. The 9th Guardian of the Killer Dynasty, Amolin, was at the peak of the 8th level at this moment, which was really shocking. Qin Feng knew that the opponent's combat power was stronger than the Supreme Branch Hall Master of the Killer Dynasty he had killed before. Amolin's killing sword might also be the king's sword that could improve his cultivation, and the protective armor on his body also had runes that enhanced his cultivation, which enhanced his cultivation from the 7th level to the 8th level. Qin Feng knew that the killer dynasty had been passed down for tens of thousands of years, and its foundation was extremely deep, and it would be very difficult to destroy. Boy, if you break into my killer dynasty alone, even if your holy lord comes, you can only come and go. The 9th Guardian of the killer dynasty snorted coldly, revealing endless murderous aura around him, covering the sky, and his might was earth-shaking. At this time, countless killers gathered near the formation hub. They saw that Amolin, one of the 9 guardians, actually took action himself, which made them extremely excited. The 9 guardians are second only to the Hall Master, and they are extremely terrifying in the headquarters. No point in talking, let's fight. Qin Feng's eyes were fierce. The 9 guardians in front of him were obstacles for him to break the formation. Only by killing all the 9 guardians could he destroy the mountain protection formation. The countless killers around were all terrified. This young man was so strong in the face of their guardians. He was really brave. You know, even if they wanted to stand near the 9 guardians, it would be very difficult. Boom. The 9 guardians' Amolin's body flowed with terrifying pressure, and the terrible momentum swept across the 8 wastelands and 6 directions, causing an energy whirlwind to hang near the lake. Buzz. Qin Feng stood still. He did not move the God King's body, and his might was also earth-shaking, blocking the attack of the 9 guardians' Amolin. Amolin started to attack immediately. The killing sword in his hand released a monstrous murderous aura, covering the sky. The space was broken at once, spreading a terrible crack. Chi-La. The sword energy was surging, and the immortal sword and the opponent's killing sword both burst out with amazing aura. The terrifying energy waves radiated in all directions, with unparalleled power. The two of them soared into the sky in an instant. With the blessing of the 300 times power of the God-forbidden domain, Qin Feng, holding the immortal sword, could completely fight against the 9 guardians Emolin. The first level of the King Sword domain. Emolin shouted coldly, and the King runes intertwined around him. One after another, the immortal swords appeared in the sky, turning into a terrible sword domain, piercing towards Qin Feng. This scene was very terrifying. Thousands of immortal swords slashed towards Qin Feng, carrying unparalleled crazy killing intent. Boom! Qin Feng's sword light flashed continuously, and the God King runes flowed on his body one after another. Under the blessing of the God Forbidden Field, the God King light shield remained motionless, covering him and blocking the killing swords that were rushing over. Those killing swords collided with Qin Feng's light shield, making a loud noise, and then all shattered. The first level of the kingly killing sword was so easily resolved by Qin Feng. This scene was really amazing, and shocked all the killers around. The Supreme Immortal Sword. Qin Feng shouted loudly, and the immortal sword he hit was infused with divine power, and then a shocking sword light was drawn. Such power reached its peak under the blessing of the God Forbidden Field. It was at this time that the second level of the King's Sword field of the Demon Forest had condensed. Between heaven and earth, more killing swords appeared, stabbing towards Qin Feng, and their power was even greater than before. Two completely different sword lights collided between heaven and earth, and a rumbling roar sounded here, and a large amount of vitality was completely boiling, and the sky was full of dazzling light. Outside the formation, many masters from the Qin Clan Holy Land and the Vermilion Bird Holy Land felt the movement coming from the formation, and all of them had cold eyes. The Holy Sun must have run into a master from the Killer Divine Dynasty. Many strong men from the two Holy Lands were discussing, although they wanted to help Qin Feng very much. But before Qin Feng left, he told them that they could only attack after the mountain protection formation was destroyed, and if the formation could not be broken, they would be helpless. Wait a little longer, I'm afraid that it will take all of our strength to break the formation, but by that time, even if the formation is broken, so many of our cultivators will be exhausted, and it is very likely that there will be heavy losses. The strong men from the two Holy Lands discussed that they showed a solemn look, and it would take time to break the formation. And the formation masters they brought with them have begun to crack the formation, but they can't solve it in a short time. At the headquarters of the Killer Dynasty, Qin Feng retreated in an instant. His Tai Shangzu Xian sword collided with the second level of the King's Sword domain, and endless cracks spread across the sky and earth. One can imagine how terrible this attack was. Near the headquarters of the Killer Dynasty, some killers were unable to dodge and were affected by the light shield overflowing from the two people, and instantly exploded into blood mist. This scene made the killers who were originally surrounding the vicinity retreat again and again, and never dared to get too close. This King's Sword domain is stronger than the previous one. Qin Feng showed a solemn look. He understood the true meaning of the King's Sword domain displayed by the 9 guardians of the Killer Dynasty. This King's Sword domain is stronger than the previous one, and the power is superimposed several times, and the momentum is quite terrifying. Sure enough, just after the sword energy of Qin Feng and the others was shattered, the third level of sword light of the 9 guardians Demon Forest rushed over again. The killing sword in the King's domain was more brilliant and huge than before, breaking the sky. Qin Feng waved the immortal sword to resist. Although he shattered a lot of sword energy, he was still submerged by the sword light of the opponent's domain. Dang dang dang. A metallic tremor came, and those killing sword runes collided with Qin Feng's body shield, making a loud noise. Under this collision, his blood and chi rolled, and he flew back dozens of feet again. Interesting. Qin Feng's mouth curved into a cold arc. The 9 guardians' moves were stronger than the previous one, which surprised him. If it weren't for his immovable God King shield, which was the blessing of the God Gold domain, he would have been broken apart under such a bombardment. Many killers in the distance were dumbfounded. Qin Feng was still intact after enduring the frontal attack of the 9 guardians, which made them terrified. The opponent was so young, and his cultivation was at the 8th level of the prince's, but his combat power was so strong that even the attack of the 8th grade king could hardly hurt him. This was too evil. Swish. The 9th guardian of the killer dynasty, Amolin, had a grim look in his eyes. His 4th level of sword energy condensed and the endless sword of the kingly way, with several times the power of the previous one, slashed towards Qin Feng again. The dazzling sword energy intertwined, and under the reflection of the king's rune, it was so overwhelming that the entire mountain protection formation was shaking. Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbspeed -01, container, tabula below article thumbnail -300x250, placement, below article thumbnail -300x250, target. Type, mix. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 866. When the 4th level of sword energy struck, Qin Feng's physical body's immovable God King's light shield was in an invincible state with the blessing of the divine gold field. After the king's sword was destroyed by Qin Feng, the sword energy that escaped from it stabbed his body surface, but it still failed to break through his defense. The assassins of the Assassin dynasty were all stunned. A young man was not injured at all after enduring repeated bombardments from the 8th grade king. This was really shocking. The 9th guardian demon Lin also couldn't believe it. He continued to activate the king's sword domain, and the power of the sword bloomed several times, and the sword intention became even more amazing. Even the other 8 guardians had to marvel at the extraordinary qualifications of their 9th junior brother. The 9th guardian himself is the youngest among the 8 guardians, but he has already cultivated king's sword to such a level. Young man, let's see how you can resist. The 9th guardian demon Lin smiled ferociously, his eyes filled with cold murderous intent. With the blessing of the king's sword domain, the 5th sword shook the world. There was a violent roaring sound here, and the void suddenly shattered. The killers in the distance were all waiting and watching. The deterrent effect of this 1st level was stronger than the 1st level, which boosted their confidence. As expected of the Lord Protector, his methods are extraordinary. No matter how strong this person is, he probably won't be able to block the Lord Protector's attack. If this kid dares to provoke our Assassin dynasty, he is destined to die without a burial place. Countless killers were talking in the distance, and everyone's hearts were filled with shock. It takes a little while, but it's fast. The 5th level of the king's sword domain goes from use to condensation in the blink of an eye. There is indeed something, but if you want to kill me just for that, you are not worthy. The corners of Qin Feng's mouth curved, he put away the immortal slaying sword and took out the 6 immortal swords. His divine king sword technique has been upgraded to the immortal king sword technique. At this moment, with the blessing of the divine forbidden realm, it is enough to unleash the true power of the 6 paths immortal sword. Chi. The void was immediately broken open, and the immortal king sword technique performed by the 6 paths immortal sword shattered the 5th level king sword domain on the spot. The unparalleled momentum immediately shocked everyone present. Amolin's eyes turned cold. He did not expect that his 5th level domain would be destroyed by the other party. This was beyond his expectation. Even his senior brothers were very shocked. The boy in front of him was probably as powerful as an invincible king and could not be treated by common sense. Brush. At this time, Amolin also showed his true fire. He was a protector of the Assassin dynasty and an 8th level king, but he couldn't defeat a junior monk. This was unacceptable to him. With a thought in his mind, the 6th level of sword light condensed again, and the terrifying power filled the air, as if it could destroy all obstacles. Kill. Qin Feng took the initiative to attack. He knew that if the opponent continued to use it, when the 9th level was used, its power would be dozens of times stronger, and the consequences would be unimaginable. Qin Feng used the thunder technique. With an indomitable momentum, he slashed forward with the immortal King's Sword technique, suddenly breaking through the void. Endless energy intertwined, causing a large black hole to appear in the world. This kind of golden immortal level technique was really terrifying. A scorching red sun appeared in mid-air, shaking the sky. The 6th level of the Wang Sword domain was directly shattered by Qin Feng, and at the same time, he slashed at the Demon Forest's Wang Sword with the 6 Paths Immortal Sword. There was a metallic trembling sound, and then the King's Sword collapsed in the world. Even Amolin's hands were shattered by this blow. "Ah, I want you to die." An earth-shattering roar came from the Demon Forest. He was actually injured. This was unacceptable to him. The strength of this young man could be described as a monster. The opponent not only broke his King's Sword, but also injured his arms. He was simply a monster among monsters. At this moment, all the killers in the Killer Dynasty were shocked to the extreme. They never thought that none of the 9 Guardians could be Qin Feng's opponent. Who else in the headquarters could cure him? After all, the 9 Guardians were invincible existences in their minds, but for such an invincible existence, 2 arms were directly broken off. This scene was so shocking that they didn't know how to describe it at all. The Lord Protector is actually injured. And the Lord Protector's weapons have all been destroyed. How is this possible? Isn't it said that Wang Jian is the most powerful weapon of the Assassin dynasty? How could it be destroyed? Many killers were talking about it, their eyes full of regret. They all couldn't believe what was happening in front of them. The Foundation protectors in the headquarters had their weapons destroyed and their arms injured by the shock. This scene made them all stunned. Not good. At this time, even the other 8 guardians saw something was wrong. Qin Feng was so strong that even their junior brothers seemed unable to defeat him. "Junior brother, let me help you." In an instant, 2 more guardians came from the air. They were holding killing swords and their power was extremely powerful. "Why are we preparing to be together? Why don't we come to die one by one?" A smile appeared on Qin Feng's lips. He stepped on the big thunder and moved across the void in an instant. Amolin, who had his arms broken by the shock, had just recovered from the shock when he saw the light of a sword getting closer and closer. Then, his head flew high, and the defensive magic weapon on his body could not stop him at all, and his head and body were separated. And at this time, a phoenix flew out in front of Qin Feng and immediately submerged his body. "Ah!" The miserable roar sounded, alarming the entire headquarters of the assassins. The magic forest, whose cultivation reached the 8th level, had extremely strong vitality. He wanted to get out of the phoenix flame, but he could not extinguish the flame. He could only endure great pain in the raging fire, and his voice was like the howling of ghosts and wolves, which frightened countless assassins in the headquarters. This incident only lasted for a few breaths, and the 9 guardians of the magic forest completely fell and turned into ashes. "Ninth brother. Boy, I will kill you." The other 2 guardians who flew over had their eyes splitting. Qin Feng, a junior, killed their 9th junior brother, which made them unacceptable. They were filled with murderous auras. 2 blood-colored dragons flew in the air and swooped down towards Qin Feng in an instant, their fangs and claws bared as if they were real. In an instant, the surrounding area of the lake was filled with murderous auras. This scene made people terrified and frightened. Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbspeed -01, container, tabula below article thumbnail -300x250, placement, below article thumbnail -300x250, target. Type, mix. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fa. Chapter 867. 2 blood-colored dragons intertwined in the air, their might was immeasurable, flying all over the sky. The cultivation of these 2 guardians was equal to that of the 9 guardians. They had practiced for endless years, and were older than the 9 guardians. Their divine power was also deeper, but their qualifications were slightly inferior to those of the 9 guardians. However, they were better because of their age. The divine power accumulated in their bodies was surging like a vast ocean. The other party killed their 9th junior brother, which made them furious. If it weren't for the formation's core, which required the divine power of their 9th junior brother to maintain, how could they watch their junior brother die? The two of them finally cut off the connection with the formation, but they didn't expect it to be too late. They couldn't save Emolyn. Hurry up and maintain the mountain protection formation, otherwise you will be killed without mercy. The voice of the great guardian of the Killer God dynasty was extremely cold. If they could get away just now, how could they let Emolyn die? But what made them even more angry was that Qin Feng was so young, but he could kill the foundation of the Killer Divine Dynasty. If this boy was not eliminated, his Killer Divine Dynasty would be doomed. Hurry up! The Great Protector said with a light voice, and he urged that the reason why they could not leave was entirely because after the improvement of the mountain protection formation, they still needed to use their divine power to completely activate and maintain it. Only when the mountain protection formation was operating normally could they use endless formation stones to replace their positions. That's why they couldn't get away. At this time, at the formation hub in the center of the lake, the formation masters who were busy with the work were all sweating when they heard the words. They were already working overtime to activate the mountain protection formation. The reason why the mountain protection formation could be fully activated was inseparable from their efforts. And now, they are just activating the formation normally. If the 3 guardians are to be able to move freely, they still need at least an incense stick of time. How long will it take to act? The voice of the 2nd guardian was also cold. After seeing the 9th guardian being killed, they knew that their 2 junior brothers would have to spend some effort to kill Qin Feng. At most 1 stick of incense. The formation master wiped the sweat from his forehead and said, "It's not that they don't want to be fast, but this mountain protection formation is too complicated, they can't be fast at all. 2 junior brothers, don't ask to kill that kid directly, you just need to buy 1 stick of incense." One of the 9 guardians transmitted the voice, "They are all great kings, all of them are extraordinary and unworldly. In their view, once they get out, it will be easy to crush Qin Feng." The 2 guardians nodded when they heard it. They were suspended in the air and confronted Qin Feng. Both of them are the foundation of the Killer Dynasty, and they are second only to the Hall Master. At this moment, they are holding killing swords, and the momentum around them is superimposed and powerful. Although the 2 of them did not have the King's Sword, the killing swords in their hands were not much weaker than the King's Sword. As the 2 swung their swords, they directly used the King's Sword domain. The 2 King's Sword domains merged into one, and the power they exerted was even more terrifying than the 6th level of the 9 guardians just now. Boom! The heaven and earth were shaking. Even though there were formations protecting them, many nearby palaces collapsed in an instant. Endless winds spread, causing the headquarters to tremble. Dang! Qin Feng blocked with the 6 immortal swords, and the 2 guardians attacked, which made him a little tired. The power of the 2 combined was quite terrifying, and its power far exceeded the cultivation of the 9 guardians. Boom! Another blow came, and the 2nd level of the King's Sword domain swept across the sky, and a series of runes formed a killing sword and slashed towards Qin Feng. At this moment, the heaven and earth were resonating, and a terrifying breath broke out around Qin Feng. Looking at the 2 sword energies rushing into the sky, he had a plan in mind. Dang! Crack! The might of the King's Sword domain combined made every ray of sword energy as heavy as a mountain, and the collapsed void was trembling. The immovable light shield around Qin Feng also showed endless ripples at this moment, and was in danger of being unable to bear it at any time. When the 2nd move of the King's Sword domain dissipated, his body protection light shield was full of cracks, and then it dissipated directly. People were shocked. The two guardians took action and finally destroyed the kid's body protection light shield, which made people very excited and saw hope. Similarly, the two guardians saw that the body protection aura around Qin Feng was destroyed, and they also saw hope. So, the two of them directly forgot the message that the big guardian sent to them to delay time. King Sword 9 Heavens. At this time, the two of them directly used the strongest move. The might of the King Sword Domain 9 Heavens was superimposed together, with 18 times the energy, which could be said to destroy the world. Immortal King Sword. At this moment, Qin Feng let out a light roar, and behind him, wisps of divine light suddenly bloomed, followed by the manifestation of auspicious signs from the heavens. A cloud of auspicious signs appeared behind Qin Feng, flowing with a vast amount of essence, absorbing the divine light from heaven and earth. More importantly, on that cloud, a huge immortal king was sitting cross-legged, with endless murderous intent engraved all over his body, composed of runes. In addition, a long sword was condensing in the immortal king's hand, and the long sword resonated with heaven and earth under the blessing of the holy realm. A terrifying wave erupted from Qin Feng's body, which immediately attracted the attention of the other 6 guardians. They all looked at the strange phenomenon behind Qin Feng, and all of them showed horror in their hearts. "Junior brother, be careful. Careful." At this moment, the 6 guardians quickly sent messages to the other 2 guardians, but it was already too late. After they destroyed Qin Feng's protective shield, they thought they could kill Qin Feng, so they took advantage of the situation and rushed forward. At this time, the 9 heavens of Wang Jian has been fully deployed, and the shocking sword energy is flooding towards Qin Feng, and it is impossible to take it back. Qin Feng, at this moment, felt that his body was filled with powerful power. He felt that he could destroy everything in the world with just one move. With a wave of his palm, the immortal king behind him moved. The long knife in the immortal king's hand flowed with a sword light that destroyed everything, extremely blazing. In an instant, the sword light broke through the sky, slashed towards the 2 guardians, and locked their bodies. Oops! At this moment, even the 2 guardians noticed something was wrong. They found that Qin Feng's attack was extremely powerful. The 2 sword lights they fired actually made them feel extremely dangerous. Puff! In an instant, Wang Jian Zhongtian was completely wiped out by the immortal king's sword. At the same time, the dragon-shaped air pillars surrounding the 2 guardians were instantly cut into nothingness. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 868. Oh my god, what happened? Why did the blood and chi of the 2 guardians disappear? The assassins of the Assassin Dynasty were all shocked. They did not expect that the terrifying vision displayed by Qin Feng could actually disperse the dragon-shaped gas column that permeated the 2 guardians. This was incredible. Swish! The immortal king's swordsmanship was extremely brilliant. Under the reflection of the auspicious clouds, the gods and demons were dancing, and the scene was extremely terrifying. A ray of sword light was so powerful that it was engraved with endless divine power. In just a moment, the killing swords of the 2 kings were abolished. At the same time, the sword light continued to move forward, chopping the 2 guardians alive in the void, and the blood of the kings spurted out in large pieces. The scene was extremely terrifying. Ah! 2 shrill long howls spread, and this scene made countless assassins present deaf end. They were all stunned and could not understand how such a thing could happen. He stepped on the thunder technique in front of him and rushed over with the 6 immortal swords in his hand. The terrifying immortal king vision burst out with a brilliant sword light, and the space in front was split open at once, with infinite power. The 2 guardians who had just connected their bodies were horrified. They were shattered again on the spot under the bombardment of the immortal king's swordsmanship. The blood of the king flowed all over the sky, and it seemed that a Red Sea had formed in the air, and infinite energy light was boiling. In the distance, countless killers were all stunned. What kind of scene was this, which made them all terrified? This young man was really terrible. It would be fine if the other party killed a guardian, but now, the two guardians were directly injured by the other party. This scene made people's souls roar. At the same time, the immortal king vision behind Qin Feng flowed with brilliant fairy fire, which continued to absorb the essence between heaven and earth, and directly submerged the two guardians. Ah! Two painful cries spread out for an unknown number of miles, which made people terrified. They howled for a full breath before they completely turned into ashes and disappeared. How is it possible? The two guardians were defeated and killed. All the killers present gasped. The result of Zhang Jiehe was unpredictable. Qin Feng displayed the terrible immortal king impression and killed two guardians in a row. This scene was incomprehensible and unacceptable to them. The 6 guardians in front of the formation were even more furious. Their 3 junior brothers all died in Qin Feng's hands, which made them furious. If the formation did not need their divine power to maintain, they would have rushed to Qin Feng and solved him. How could the scene of the junior brothers falling appear? It's all Shishan's fault. The big guardian roared in a low voice, and the murderous aura around him was madly surging. If they were not inseparable, how could such a tragic scene happen? Shishan? Yes, it's all Shishan's fault, otherwise you would all be dead. He stood gently in the wind, with a cold smile on his lips. If it weren't for the power of the axe of creation, which still needed time to be used, he would have killed all 9 guardians. However, from the time he refined the energy to improve his realm to the time he killed the 3 guardians, the time was almost up. At this time, he could feel that the seal of the axe of creation had weakened, and he could use it directly in 2 minutes. It's done. At this moment, the formation masters of the killer dynasty shouted in surprise. At this critical moment, they finally activated the formation completely, using a large amount of natural treasures to replace the energy and divine power of the 9 guardians. Give me your life. At this moment, the 6 guardians all soared into the sky, with extremely terrifying fighting spirit intertwined on them. They came flying in the air with killing swords in their hands, and the terrifying killing intent that permeated around them made the world tremble. Endless king runes interweaved, causing the headquarters of the killer dynasty to tremble. The 6 guardians attacked together, and the king runes that gushed out of their bodies were like rivers, sweeping across the sky, and their attack power was terrifying to the extreme. 1 minute left. Qin Feng shouted in his heart. With the blessing of the God-forbidden domain, he pushed his own God King immovable light shield to the extreme. With the blessing of the terrible runes, his body was dazzling with golden light, like a golden bell made of gold. With a bang, the terrible murderous aura burst out and directly submerged Qin Feng's body. Even if it was the immovable God King light shield, it was difficult to withstand the bombardment of the 6 guardian kings. Qin Feng flew out directly, and the protective light shield on his body shattered in mid-air, and a stream of blood spurted out of his mouth, and he was severely injured. However, Qin Feng's vitality was extremely amazing. He stepped on the thunder walk technique and rushed into the crowd of the killer dynasty in a flash. Qin Feng started a killing spree here. The 6 immortal swords in his hand flashed and chopped dozens of killers alive in the sky and earth. These people had strong cultivation and were all the geniuses and masters of the killer dynasty. However, for Qin Feng, they were just lambs to be slaughtered. In just a moment, nearly 100 people died in Qin Feng's hands, and blood splattered everywhere. There is no doubt that Qin Feng's choice was extremely correct. He was in the crowd of countless killers. Even if the 6 guardians wanted to kill him, they had to be timid. Because not everyone has the defense power of Qin Feng. If the 6 guardians of the killer god dynasty attack indiscriminately, a large number of killers will die directly. Once that happens, the many cultivators of the killer god will inevitably be alienated and will no longer be able to gather effective combat power. On the contrary, once the two holy places outside the mountain protection formation break through the formation, they will not be able to fight against the cultivators of the two holy places. Naturally, these killers of the killer god dynasty also know that they retreated to the rear at the first time. At the same time, a large number of dead warriors also actively surrounded Qin Feng. They wanted to stop Qin Feng directly and create opportunities for the guardians of the killer god dynasty to kill Qin Feng. There is no doubt that this is an extremely correct choice. They used the killing formation to surround Qin Feng. Although Qin Feng can still kill some killers, he can no longer be as rampant as before. And it was precisely because of this moment of obstruction that the 6 guardians flew in from 6 directions and surrounded Qin Feng. "Boy, I will tear out your tendons and skin you alive to vent my hatred." The voice of the great guardian was extremely cold, and the king's aura was intertwined in his body. Endless and terrifying murderous intent permeated, as if it had turned into a substance and was extremely terrifying. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 869. Qin Feng was surrounded, he was suspended in the air, the situation looked extremely critical. "Boy, run again. Use whatever means you have, it will be too late if you are late." The 6 guardians' voices were low and full of murderous intent. Qin Feng killed their 3 great brothers, which made them extremely angry. At this moment, after they surrounded Qin Feng, they thought they had already won, and completely regarded Qin Feng as a turtle in a jar. At this moment, the surrounded Qin Feng smiled, he looked down at the 6 people and shouted, "That's what I want to say, use whatever means you have, it will be too late if you are late. Asshole, can this guardian be afraid of you?" The 6 guardians snorted coldly, their words were cold, and their aura burst out, and they rushed towards Qin Feng, aggressively. In the eyes of the 6 of them, Qin Feng dared to provoke their killer dynasty, which was an act of seeking death. Swish! 6 swords of killing, flowing with brilliant light, the terrifying demon enveloped them, making countless killers sweat and retreat to the back, unable to remain calm. You know, the power of the 6 guardians is so strong that countless killers want to kneel down. At this time, they are very calm. The 6 guardians attack together. What can the young man in front use to fight? Not afraid of death, right? Qin Feng said lightly, and a rusty stone axe appeared in his hand. The axe looks very old, covered with cracks, and it seems that it will break at the touch. The countless killers around, looking at the broken axe in Qin Feng's hand, all have disdainful sneers on their mouths. A weapon that is about to be destroyed also wants to compete with the 6 guardians, which is simply courting death. However, when the 6 guardians saw the stone axe in Qin Feng's hand, they were all frightened and pale, and they retreated in the void. As the guardians of the assassin dynasty, they had heard that Qin Feng had an unparalleled axe. Although the axe was worn out, it was extremely powerful and had killed many powerful forces. At this moment, after they saw the axe in Qin Feng's hand, they panicked. The 6 immortal swords continued to slash at Qin Feng, while they retreated to the back. Qi La! The Kaishan stone axe rolled down, and there was only a huge roar. The 5 guardians who ran the slowest were blown away by Qin Feng's Kaishan axe on the spot. In just a moment, the 5th guardian shattered in the void and turned directly into a blood mist. The surrounding assassins and guardians were all stunned. A rusty axe could actually have such power, which made them all sweat coldly. Are you kidding? Qin Feng's Kaishan stone axe can easily kill the king. It is a weapon with divine power. Moreover, with Qin Feng's current cultivation, it is enough to exert part of the power of the axe of creation. It was too easy for him to kill these king guardians. If there was no 3-day cooling period, Qin Feng would be able to dominate the world. Where are you running? Qin Feng held the axe of creation in his hand and stepped on the thunder walk technique. In an instant, he crossed the void and chased the other 5 guardians, launching a great chase. The 5 guardians who were preparing to escape were all the foundation of the killer dynasty. At this moment, they were all scared and pale. Just one move killed one of their junior brothers, who was a strong man with the same level of cultivation as them. This made them indescribable and terrified to the extreme. "Didn't you say that I should use my tricks just now? I have already used them, why did you run away?" Qin Feng's cold eyes swept over and locked the figures of the other 5 guardians. An extremely strong and terrifying pressure flowed from his body. It was the divine power of the Kaishan stone axe, which possessed a shocking power. Oh my God, what a terrifying weapon! I'm afraid this is not the legendary artifact. In the distant sky, countless monks were all stunned. Qin Feng had a divine weapon in his hand, which made their hearts surge with a huge haze. In this terrifying scene, how could they, the killer divine dynasty, resist and stop it? Stop him quickly and buy time. At this time, the great protector suddenly waved his hand and issued an order. At this time, they knew that Qin Feng's combat power was extremely terrifying, and it was not as simple as the vassal domain on the surface. As the great protector's voice fell, there were endless killers around, and they immediately surrounded Qin Feng. They united nearly 10,000 people, which was also a shocking combat power. At this moment, they did not seek to kill Qin Feng, but only to create opportunities for the 5 guardians. The killer divine dynasty has been able to stand on the ancient continent for so many years, and its foundation is unfathomable, and its number is comparable to that of the strong men in the Holy Land, otherwise it would not have existed for so long. At this time, the headquarters gathered nearly 40,000 killers for the decisive battle. Some of them soared into the sky, and the terrible aura intertwined together to form a killing array, full of explosive power. At this moment, Qin Feng's face was extremely calm. He waved his big hand forward, and the Kaishan stone axe flowed out a brilliant divine light, breaking through the sky. Groups of killers were killed under Qin Feng's axe. He used the most fierce means to kill nearly 100 killers on the spot. This scene made the faces of the 5 guardians change suddenly. They cried out in their hearts that it was not good. Looking at this scene, Qin Feng seemed to be able to destroy the entire killer divine dynasty, which made them feel uneasy. These people are the elites of the assassin headquarters. If they all die, it will be a devastating blow to their assassin dynasty. "Brothers, fight him!" the great protector shouted coldly. He did not hesitate at all and immediately used the most powerful means. The other 4 protectors did not hesitate after hearing this. They used the King Rune to construct the foundation of the assassin dynasty. The killer domain of the immortal level was displayed, and a vast breath flowed out immediately. The power of the 5 people combined together, and the murderous aura was even more powerful and fierce. But unfortunately, after Qin Feng killed 4 protectors, their killer domain could no longer reach the strongest peak. But even so, their killer domains were all superimposed together, and their combat power was instantly soaring. "Boy, let's see how you can resist. Give me your life. Go to hell." The great protector grinned, and endless murderous intent flowed around him. The killer dynasty's killing domain made their physical bodies almost 100 times stronger, and they were extremely powerful. At this moment, in the center of the mountain protection formation, a monstrous momentum flowed out, shaking the 9 heavens and 10 earths, and making the entire assassin headquarters tremble. In the distance, countless assassins saw this scene. All of them were furious, they shouted loudly, and all thought they had already won. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 870. We won. The Guardian is mighty. The killers of the Killer God Dynasty cheered, and everyone present was shocked. Hope was just around the corner. As Guardians, you are indeed quite capable, but if you want to kill me with this, you are still far from it. Qin Feng's face showed a calm expression. The axe of creation had infinite power. As a legendary artifact, it had unfathomable power. At this time, as Qin Feng's cultivation became more and more profound, the power of the axe of creation he could use became stronger and stronger. Swish! As he swung the axe of creation in his hand, it suddenly burst out with the power of destroying the world. This unparalleled scene shocked everyone present. The five guardians were horrified. The power of the axe of creation had already exceeded their understanding. Even though their killing field had hundreds of times more energy, they still felt an irresistible power. Qin Feng made his move, the Kaishan stone axe destroyed the opponent's killing field, and suddenly chopped down, and the huge axe light extinguished all obstacles. In the shocked eyes of countless killers, the five guardians of the killer divine dynasty all became dead souls under the Kaishan stone axe. Their bodies collapsed on the spot, and even their souls were directly turned into powder under the Kaishan stone axe, and they all became ashes. Just one axe killed the six guardians. Qin Feng's strength was indescribable. This scene made the killers all terrified. All 9 guardians died in Qin Feng's hands, which made them all gasp. You have to know that they were invincible in the divine dynasty. They died so aggrievedly, and the shock in their hearts can be imagined. At this time, the silence in the field reached the extreme, and the killers of the killer divine dynasty were all stagnant and fell into endless panic. 9 guardians, all dead. What is the origin of the weapon in that kid's hand? Why is it so powerful? This is impossible, I can't accept it. The assassins of the assassin dynasty all looked at the scene in disbelief. How can they fight if all 9 guardians have fallen? As all 9 guardians have fallen, 3 criminal police scratch cards appeared in the void, which made Qin Feng's heart move. It is still necessary to kill high-level strong men to have such a high drop rate. As Qin Feng's mind moved, he held the cards in his hand in an instant and scratched them all. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully using the Star Gold scratch card and obtaining 100,000 grams of Super P-Ewin pill. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully using the Star Gold scratch card and obtaining 2 100,000-year-old immortal medicines. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully using the Star Gold scratch card and obtaining 1,000 Earth Immortal Spears. 3 prompts from the system came, and Qin Feng obtained 3 treasures, with quite good results. After doing all this, Qin Feng looked at the formation hub in the center of the lake, which was the purpose of his visit this time. In the center of the lake, because of the death of all the 9 guardian elders, those formation masters had already fled. At this time, Qin Feng's mind moved, and the stone axe in his hand instantly flowed out endless sharpness, and chopped on the formation hub in an instant. Boom! A huge tremor sounded between heaven and earth, followed by an unimaginable power spreading out, and the 9 stone pillars as the formation hub collapsed directly into powder. Moreover, together with countless natural treasures, they were all shattered into powder under Qin Feng's axe. Buzz! As the formation hub was destroyed, a mysterious wave spread out, and then the mountain protection formation that originally enveloped the headquarters directly turned into a ripple and disappeared between heaven and earth. At this moment, the killers of the killer divine dynasty were all stunned. The mountain protection formation just disappeared, exposing them all to the world. Kill! At this time, the masters of the 2 holy places waiting outside saw that the formation had disappeared and countless palaces appeared between heaven and earth, and they immediately became furious. The formation was destroyed, and at this time Qin Feng left them a signal, and they all rode on terrifying beasts and rushed directly into the headquarters of the killer dynasty. The masters of the 2 holy places were murderous, and in order to destroy the killer dynasty this time, the 2 holy places sent out masters. The killer dynasty had already offended the public. With the leadership of the masters of the 2 holy places, there were also countless holy forces following. In such an extremely terrifying strength, the killer god grass walking in the shadows finally became the target of slaughter. Kill. Charge. Countless masters soared into the sky, and the masters of the holy places joined forces to attack, and there was endless blood immediately. In an instant, dozens of killers turned directly into blood mist, ending a life full of sin. Ah! Countless screams spread throughout this area, and the extinguishing of the killer dynasty was just beginning. The headquarters of the assassin dynasty is so huge. They have been operating for tens of thousands of years and have a very deep foundation. At this time, tens of thousands of assassins gathered here. Under the leadership of the detachment leader, their combat power is also extremely terrifying. This is destined to be an unimaginable Shura field. One assassin after another died, and there were also masters from the Holy Land lying dead. Such a bloody battlefield, with endless blood and energy spreading, makes people terrified. Swoosh! At this moment, countless masters rushed out from the mountains in the distance. There are nearly thousands of these people, all of them are masters, with extraordinary means. Qin Feng had just rushed out of the crowd of the Killer God dynasty. He stared at the masters who appeared between the mountains in the distance and frowned. If these people joined the battle, the situation in the field would inevitably be reversed, because at this time, the many masters brought by the two holy places had the upper hand. But if those people joined the battle, the masters of the Killer God dynasty would surely surpass the two holy places on their side. Kongxian clan. Qin Feng's eyes were cold, and his eyes revealed a terrible murderous aura. The Kongxian clan closed the mountain in advance, and it turned out that they were waiting for him here. The Kongxian clan, as a rumored ancient holy land, has a deep foundation and many masters. If they really join forces with the Killer God dynasty, the battle situation may really be rewritten. I will stop them, don't be distracted. Qin Feng said coldly, his voice spread here, and then he rode on the dragon horse directly, turning into a dazzling beam of light across the void. In the blink of an eye, Qin Feng arrived in front of the Kongxian clan, holding a huge stone axe, with an extremely powerful momentum. Qin Feng, today I will make you die in both body and soul. The deputy clan leader of the Kongxian clan burst into murderous intent. There are countless living fossils in their land, and they have fallen into Qin Feng's hands, which has long made them want to kill. Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbs feed -01, container, tabula below article feed, placement, below article feed, target. Type, mix. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 871. The masters of the Kongxian clan have taken action against Qin Feng more than once, and they already have an incomprehensible hatred between them. Especially the rumored Kongxian clan had living fossils that fell into Qin Feng's hands, which made the Kongxian clan determined to kill Qin Feng. Similarly, Qin Feng thought the same way. At such a critical moment as killing the Killer dynasty, the Kongxian clan actually jumped out to help the Killer dynasty. This already had a way to kill them. In the distance, the monks from various major forces such as the Qin clan's Holy Land, the Suzaku Holy Land, looked at Qin Feng, who was in charge of one man, and they all felt as if they were dreaming. Many people are very confused in their hearts. They really want to know how Qin Feng can withstand thousands of strong men from the Kongxian clan. Kongxian, the deputy chief of the Kongxian clan, has reached the 8th level of the Dacheng King. He is the leader of the Kongxian clan this time. As a legendary ancient holy land, the Kongxian clan has a very profound foundation. It has existed for tens of thousands of years, and all those sent out this time are elites. There is no doubt that the Suzaku Holy Land and the Qin Clan Holy Land bring the best of the best. If all the masters from the two Holy Lands can be annihilated this time, the Kongxian clan will become the veritable #1 Holy Land in Dongzhou. The Kongxian clan, you have completely angered me. I am announcing today that the Kongxian clan will also be removed from Dongzhou. Qin Feng's eyes were cold, and there was endless murderous intent flowing in his eyes, which was extremely intense. Only you? You also want to destroy my Kongxian clan? What a joke. My Kongxian clan has been in Dongzhou for tens of thousands of years. How can you, a yellow dog, be able to destroy it? There were bursts of shouts and curses among the masters of the Kongxian clan. With their number of people joining the killer dynasty, they surpassed the two holy places and the following forces, which gave them confidence. In their opinion, the balance of victory has tipped to the side of the killer god, and there will be no surprises. Brush. Qin Feng was too lazy to talk nonsense with them. As he moved, a row of grenade launchers immediately appeared in front of him. The launchers of this howitzer are all made of immortal gold, with the king's runes engraved on them, which is extremely terrifying. As the howitzer launcher appeared in the sky, it suddenly emitted endless golden light. Such dazzling light made countless monks of the Kongxian clan look sideways, completely unable to understand it. At such a critical moment, Qin Feng took out this row of grenade launchers. Could it be that he still wanted to use these iron barrels to turn the tide of the war? However, when the masters from the two holy places saw the grenade launcher that Qin Feng took out, their faces showed a look of understanding. Not long ago, Qin Feng had given them a batch of magic weapons of this level, and their power was truly earth-shattering. At that time, they had already tested it and found that this thing could kill the princes and pose a threat to the king, so they had full confidence in Qin Feng. At this time, they no longer worried about Qin Feng, but took action towards the killer god dynasty. What the hell? Do you want to stop our Kongxian clan just because of this? Isn't this kid stupid? Many strong men from the Kongxian clan burst into discussions. They looked at the row of long tubes in front of Qin Feng, and they all felt that they couldn't understand it. A sneer appeared on Qin Feng's lips. This grenade launcher was the sniper stray cannon he obtained from the Assassin Dynasty branch. This kind of sniper howitzer is more powerful than a long shot, and its accuracy is not enough. It uses lethality to make up for it. Its combat radius is extremely terrifying. As long as the strong men in the vassal realm get close to it, they will be bombed into scum in an instant without any resistance. Although his sky-opening stone axe also possesses infinite power, facing so many monks from the Kongxian clan, he cannot cover everything. But this grenade launcher was different. At this time, he was still thousands of meters away from the monks of the Kongxian clan, and he was completely able to reach them. Boom! At this moment, as Qin Feng thought, dozens of sniper howitzers began to fire under his control. The grenade dragged a long tail flame, and with the blessing of runes, it spread out terrifying power, sweeping the entire sky in an instant. Many elders of the Kongxian clan, who had not taken all this seriously at first, screamed one after another, and many old monsters flew upside down and were seriously injured. Ah! The screams came one after another, turning the originally disciplined monks of the Kongxian clan into chaos. Many masters fell directly under this bombardment, and more powerful ones were seriously injured and extremely miserable. Die. Seeing such a scene, Kong Xie, the deputy chief of the Kongxian clan, naturally couldn't stand it. He waved his hand, and several kings suddenly appeared next to Qin Feng. Swish, swish, swish. Those Dachan kings took action together, and unimaginable power flowed from them, directly covering Qin Feng's surroundings. Qin Feng grinned, turned the howitzer in front of him, and hit the Dachan kings. In an instant, endless terrifying roars spread out, making people feel nervous. However, these green onion kings were already mentally prepared, so the threat from the howitzer to them was not as alarming as they imagined. The king runes around them were extremely terrifying, blocking Qin Feng's howitzer attack, and also made an effective counterattack. The howitzers can kill the strong men in the vassal realm, but for the prepared great kings, they can only make them embarrassed, but can't hurt them. Crack! In just a moment, several sniper howitzers were destroyed by the great kings of the Kongxian clan, which made Qin Feng very distressed. You know, these immortal weapons were the magic weapons left to the Qin family after he was ready to destroy the Assassin dynasty. He didn't expect that several of them were destroyed, which really made him feel painful. Swish! The great kings were already close, and the sniper stray bullets were naturally of little use. Qin Feng thought about it and collected them all. The 5 great kings in front of him were not only highly cultivated, but also had extremely strong defensive armor around them. If they were facing ordinary people, they would have been invincible. Young man, today I will let you know the consequences of offending my Kongxian clan. The 5 kings were suspended in the air, with layers of green light swirling around them. The terrible killing intent swept across the sky, making the people present feel the bone-chilling cold. At this moment, 5 huge peacocks appeared behind the 5 kings. This peacock, with the king's runes flowing, has unimaginable power. The peacock, the legendary demon bird, is full of demonic nature and has destructive explosive power. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 872. Son, we are here to help you. At this time, some elders and masters of the Suzaku Holy Land in the distance sent a message. They were still tens of thousands of meters away from here, and all wanted to come to help Qin Feng. No need to come, you just need to use the magic weapons I gave you. Qin Feng heard this and immediately sent a message. These masters are all the foundation of their Suzaku Holy Land. They are too few in number. If they rush over to help directly, they can't be the opponents of the Kongxian clan. What's more, they don't have the extraordinary body skills like Qin Feng. Even if one person dies, Qin Feng will be very reluctant. This is the foundation of their Suzaku Holy Land, the future invincibility, how can it be lost here? The strong men received Qin Feng's message and immediately took out the magic weapon that Qin Feng gave them when they came to Nanling. The so-called magic weapon is the sniper howitzer that Qin Feng obtained before. This gathering howitzer is their killer. Even if it can't kill the king, it can have a certain impact on the actions of the kings. And they were 10,000 meters away from here, so they didn't have to worry about the revenge of the Kongxian clan masters, and they could do it with all their strength. Boom boom boom. Tens of thousands of meters away, the magic weapon made of fairy gold passed through the void, and the grenades swept across the sky like meteors, and the might was terrifying. Around Qin Feng, the 5 great kings felt a great crisis, and they were blown away by the destructive shockwave in an instant. However, the king runes on their bodies were fully opened, so they did not suffer fatal injuries. However, the masters of the prince's domains next to them were completely gone. Under the impact of the fairy gold grenades, those masters were directly torn into powder, and blood flowed out. This scene was really terrifying. Many masters of the Kongxian clan suffered a devastating blow. This scene made countless cultivators tremble with fear, and even their souls were trembling. Qi La. At the moment when the 5 kings retreated, Qin Feng, holding the Kaishan stone axe, rode the dragon horse and rushed over. Instantly, the terrible murderous aura swept across the world. Qin Feng used the Kaishan stone axe to directly kill the 5 great kings and turn them into blood mist. Hiss. This scene stunned countless cultivators of the Kongxian clan. They were terrified. Such a terrifying and bloody scene made their fighting spirit collapse. On the other side, the strong men from the 2 holy places rushed into the palace of the Killer Divine Dynasty. They divided their troops into 2 directions and attacked the Killer Divine Dynasty and began to kill. Roar. Kill. The endless roars of beasts shook the earth, like a soul-soothing song, intimidating the world. Oh my God! Ah! The many killers of the Killer Divine Dynasty screamed. They walked in the darkness and assassinated the strong men of countless forces. Now, things have finally turned around. They were treated as targets for slaughter. Countless monks whose relatives had been killed began to avenge their clansmen. This is the sorrow that has accumulated for endless years. Under the leadership of the two holy places, many holy places and the major forces that joined spontaneously began to ambush the killers. This is destined to be a moment that will be recorded in history. The notorious Killer Dynasty will be removed from Zhongzhou, and many monks in the future will no longer be killed by the Killer Dynasty. The war is still going on, the shouts and roars are deafening, the roars spread all over the field, and the energy swept across the world. The deputy patriarch of the Kongxian clan, Mao Zixinyan, the 5 kings were killed by Qin Feng in an instant, and in the mountains in the distance, there were endless masters ambushing, which caused heavy losses to their Kongxian clan. Qin Feng, I want you to die. The deputy patriarch of the Kongxian clan, Kongxie, had murderous intent in his eyes. Qin Feng killed 5 kings in a row, which made him furious. You know, the 5 kings are all his direct descendants. Now that they are all killed, it is a huge blow to his faction. There are many people who want me to die. Who do you think you are? Qin Feng's eyes burst out with 2 substantial killing intentions. He rode a dragon horse and floated in the air, sacred and extraordinary. Magic bird domain. With a low roar from Kongxie, a strong man of the Kongxian clan, a huge peacock appeared behind him. The magic bird peacock exuded unimaginable pressure, and endless king runes intertwined and turned into a huge field. This is the magic bird domain of their Kongxian clan. In this field, his combat power can be superimposed dozens of times, and the power is extremely amazing. Swish! Kongxie made a move, and a bronze war spear appeared in his hand. The bronze war spear burst out with a green light, piercing the sky, and a space crack appeared between heaven and earth. In the void, a series of sharp edges penetrated the space, and in the blink of an eye, they came to the front of Qin Feng and pierced his throat. At this moment, with the blessing of the magic bird domain, dozens of times the power was superimposed, and the spear light of the war spear, containing a destructive breath, burst out directly. Cut. Facing this terrible bronze war spear, Qin Feng was at a loss. He shouted and rushed forward with the stone axe of the sky. The stone axe of the sky is a legendary artifact. The terrible light immediately shattered the afterimage of the bronze war spear in the air. The leader of the Xian clan of the Kong clan saw that the situation was not good. With the blessing of the magic bird domain, he moved his body and his speed was dozens of times faster. In the blink of an eye, he jumped hundreds of meters away and avoided the subsequent attack of the light of the stone axe of the sky. Boy, I am undefeated in my magic bird domain. Kongxie, the deputy patriarch of the Kongxian clan, shouted again, and his footsteps were mysterious and he crossed the void in an instant, and came behind Qin Feng again. At this moment, the bronze spear was emitting light, and murderous aura was lingering on Qin Feng's back. Boom! At this moment, Qin Feng turned around suddenly, and he punched out directly, and between his palms and fingers, the moon and the sun were intertwined. The huge fist print of Kunpeng moving 9 days spread out and hit the long blade of Kongxie's bronze spear. Crack! A sound of metal breaking was heard, and Kongxie's spear was directly broken by Qin Feng's invincible full voice. At the same time, the terrifying combat power acted directly on him, and he was directly shaken out, like flying a kite. Impossible! Kongxie couldn't accept it at all. He could cross the void under the blessing of the magic bird domain. But even so, Qin Feng still knew his movements and movements. This talent was so extraordinary that he was extremely shocked. You are not the first to say this, but you will become one of them. Feng's mouth showed a deep cold arc. Those enemies who thought it was impossible have all gone to hell.